Welcome, everybody. We're glad to have you all here today on this. I know it's chilly out there, so I hope you had a glass of wine and some sandwiches by Sterna's. They did a great job. And also that nice music by the Jazz Assassins, one of our local groups here in northeastern PA. I really love this event. It's really, I think, great to get all of our arts and culture groups, or as many as possible, together in one room, because I think it's just a great visual impact. Jim Cullen and I were talking, and he made a joke. What did you say, Jim? I hope the building something doesn't happen, because we would lose all of our, our arts and cultural treasures, because you're all here at once. So that's really exciting. I'm Maureen McGuigan. I work for the county in the Department of Arts and Culture. I really love my job because I get to work with all of you. And like I said, once a year, we come together to recognize both what we call our program stream recipients, who receive a yearly allocation from the county, and also every year we have a project grant award which people can apply for. So that is why we are here tonight. In preparing for tonight, I had many things to reflect on. The challenging year we just faced and the most challenging future that still lies ahead. I struggled to find something neat and clean to sum up the importance of art and how to keep our chins up, and I spent half the afternoon today Googling quotes, trying to find the perfect one. But I kept returning to the work of Ellen Dissanayake, who was an anthropologist who was a forerunner researching the question of why humans make art from a biological and evolutionary perspective. Her theory expounds that art isn't something light and fluffy, but rather a deep, integral part of our biological survival, especially during times of transition. She coined a two-word phrase that I'd like to share with you to capture what artists do: making special. As she says, we don't have a verb to art, but what are artists, dancers, poets doing, she says? They're taking the ordinary and making it special. You create a bowl out of mud, but you don't leave it ordinary. You make it special by engraving a pattern or figures. A poet takes ordinary words and makes them special. The idea of making special really speaks to me as I think about all of the various groups and individual artists that the county is able to fund. This is what you do. You make Lackawanna County really special. And we need this even more now in these very uncertain times than when times are good. But of course, as we all know, in difficult times, we are often asked to do more with less, to be enormously creative, to work with new people and organizations, to think outside the box, find new sources of revenue, to hold course in the storm, to solve the riddle, to fight the dragon. In a way, it is a kind of hero's journey ahead of us, to borrow a phrase from Joseph Campbell, with many unknowns, but also, if we choose to look and believe, opportunities for positive transformation. And I do believe that art and culture will always survive because it is in our genes as a human species, and it is important to our survival even if we don't understand all of the reasons why. Art and culture isn't a fad. Commissioners O'Brien, Washoe, and Munchak know this, and despite these challenges we may face in the county, continue to be committed to supporting arts and culture in Lackawanna County. So as 2010 begins, we are looking forward to a great year in the arts as all of you continue to create. So thank you very much for being here. You don't have to applaud. It's okay. I'm now going to call up briefly, before we start the official program, Dr. Philip Mosley, who kind of ties in with finding resources. He is on the board of the Pennsylvania Humanities Council, which is a great organization, and one of his goals is to kind of educate our community about the resources there, because there are opportunities for arts and culture organizations in our area to apply.
Thank you, Maureen. Maureen asked me to keep this brief, and I will do. I'm Philip Mosley, as I was introduced. I'm Professor of English and Comparative Literature at Penn State Worthington Scranton, but as Maureen also mentioned, I am on the board of the Pennsylvania Humanities Council. And my main purpose this evening is just to remind you of the Council's commitment to collaborations between the arts and the humanities. Its grants program does allow for applications from artists and arts groups that wish to include some kind of humanities component in their project. For example, if a dance troupe were applying for a grant and found a way to incorporate a series of lectures or seminars about the history of that particular dance and its social context and so on. That is the kind of thing that would work very well as a combination project for an application to the PHC grants program. And those grants are multi-tiered. There are quick grants, there are middle-sized grants, and there are the big grants. So there are different levels to suit different people applying. And allow me also to mention a very important partnership between the PHC and the Pennsylvania Council on the Arts, and that is the Arts Commentary program, which encourages and supports non-fiction work that increases, and I'm reading from the flyer here, that increases the general public's understanding of the contemporary arts. So there's another way in through a joint program administered by the PCA and the PHC. Now, since I've been on the board, I've done a little bit of informal consulting with artists and groups interested in applying to the PHC. I'd like to reiterate that I'm very willing, as one of your local board members, to continue doing that. So I have my card with me, and if anyone is interested in making contact with me informally, I'd be happy to do that. The PHC actually is very, and I think this deserves a ringing cheer, is very, very Northeast PA oriented right now. We actually have 3 board members from this area currently on the entire board, which represents quite a percentage of the board of the council. And one of my fellow board members is here tonight, and I would like to just recognize her. Many of you will know her, Lackawanna County Librarian Mary Garm. And if you happen to be based in Luzerne County, C. Reynold Verrett, the provost of Wilkes University, is also a member of the PHC board. So between Mary, myself, and Reynold, we have 3 PHC board members operating out of Luzerne and Lackawanna counties. And I'm sure Mary would join with me in saying that we all would be more than happy to give advice and to engage in consulting with anyone who's interested in possibly applying to the PHC for an arts-humanities combination grant. I have brought with me a few copies of the one of the recent Pennsylvania Humanities Council newsletters. If anyone's interested, I have a few copies. Please don't hesitate to approach me later on. And I would like to support what Maureen said 100%, and also to say that I'm very, very pleased that someone of Maureen's caliber is in the position that she is in. Thank you very much.
Your check's in the mail. No, that's great. And we're lucky to have Philip. He will meet with people if anybody's interested in trying to apply for a humanities grant. So I want to say that one of our council members, Alicia Grega, where is she? She received a fellowship last year for the Arts Commentary Fellowship, a $5,000 fellowship for her neo-vaudeville, vaudeville in the 21st century. And she's done a couple lectures, and she'll be doing more in 2010. And there's a website, too, where you can go and read about that. I'm going to have the commissioners come and speak now, but I wanted to just speak briefly about a kind of newer program we have going on called Arts Engage. I'm not sure if enough of the public knows about it yet. It's a great program solely for the youth in Lackawanna County. Last year we were able to serve 900 young people in Lackawanna County through arts and cultural experiences. It's a partnership with children and youth. All of what we do is we fund organizations. We are currently funding 11 organizations this year, and it's open to the public. Most of the programs are either free or extremely affordable, and then we place at-risk children in these programs. So I think it's a very forward-thinking program because it's social services and arts working together instead of often what we see as competing against one another. So I want to recognize some of those programs, and this was a brainchild of our current commissioners. They really wanted to do something for the youth in Lackawanna County, and had myself and Bill Browning of Children and Youth start talking, and now I think we have this really, really great program that all of the organizations are working together to do really miraculous things. So maybe we can just, if there's maybe have them stand up. But I have information on the table if anybody wants to take them, listing all the times and dates of the programs. We have programs for elementary kids, high school students, The Boys and Girls Club is running an after-school program, a fine arts after-school program. We have EOTC is doing arts activities at Skyview Apartments. The Greater Carbondale YMCA is running a teen, 11 to 17-year-old theater program. Electric Theater Company will be doing acrobalance, Shakespeare, clowning project in the spring. The Everhart Museum is running a fine arts program after school. Howard Gardner is also doing a visual arts program that's starting in January. Keystone has a very unique project. They're doing an iron pour starting in May, which is pretty unusual, I think. NEIU runs a wonderful art save. It's once a month for high school students. They bring in talented artists both in the visual and performing arts. United Neighborhood Centers is running an after-school program for junior and senior high school students, both in Scranton and Carbondale. The Lackawanna Historical Society is one of our new programs this year that's going to be documenting some of the churches in the area through photography. Scranton Public Theater is doing a program where the kids have actually written scripts and will be performing them for high school students. And I think that's all of them. So do you guys just want to stand up here? I just really want to just sort of applaud your efforts and So again, there's green sheets on the table if you have children or know people who may benefit from that program. So before we get started announcing both our program stream recipients and our project grant winners, I'd like to ask the commissioners to come up. They would like to say a few words.
Boy, I think we just hope that Maureen doesn't run for office because her speech was excellent. Well done. The one thing you always know with Maureen McGuigan is that she cares so deeply about the arts, and she comes into our office oftentimes, and she'll come in with a budget, she'll come in with all of her stuff, and here we are in this mindset of, okay, how do we cut expenses, how do we save money, how do we save on our pencils and our pens, how do we get people to start bringing those pens back from their kitchen cabinets, everybody, we get a lot of requests for supplies in Lackawanna County, and we'll take a look at these requisition forms, and it'll say, 3 boxes of pens. And then we call down to the directors and say, okay, can you please tell everybody in the office to bring them back from the kitchen, because that's typically where our pens end up. And they've been doing that, and we've been able to save some money. But one of the programs that we cherish in this county is the Arts and Cultural Program. And as Maureen said, when times are good, it's easy to be a supporter of the arts. And it's easy to go out there and do things and go to things. But it's when times are bad that we oftentimes need arts and culture even more, because it helps make us feel maybe a little bit better about ourselves and about our condition and about us going forward than it would otherwise. So we oftentimes see arts and culture as sometimes an escape. Sometimes, when you need that little pep talk, you participate in an arts program or a cultural program, and you feel just a little bit better about yourself, and your children feel a little bit better about what we have going on around here. And to hear people like Maureen speak as well and as articulately as she did, it just goes to show that not only do we make the right decision when we hired her to begin with, but that she's doing a lot of great things here in our community, and we want to thank you for all of that, Maureen. I want to just talk briefly about the Arts Engage program, which Maureen she did a great job of kind of explaining. One of the things that Mike and I were sitting in a conference room one day, and we asked Maureen to come up, and Bill Browning, and we said, hey, we want to do something to try to level the playing field, to try to make children who would otherwise never have an opportunity to do theater, children who would otherwise never have the opportunity to learn how to play the violin, children who would never have the opportunity to, read stories and sing songs with other kids from around the community. Is there any way that we can bring all of these kids together and level the playing field in a way where those kids who are at risk, who maybe didn't have everything that other kids had, could be in that same room, in that same classroom, where there are no divisions, where everyone is on a level playing field. Nobody looks more dressed up than the other. Everybody comes there paid. We pay for those at risk, and if you're not at risk, then you're paying. But even the people who are administering the program don't know the difference. They don't know who those children are. So all we do is show up with 10 or 15 kids, and here they are, and they're going to learn how to put on a play this afternoon. And some of those children would have never had that type of opportunity. And it's amazing to see what children, how they learn from each other, and how when you break down those barriers and you just allow children to be children and to be kids and go up there and express themselves, how special that experience is. And that's what we've been trying to create here in Lackawanna County. We've created that with our Boundless Playground Initiative, which is universal access playgrounds throughout the county, and we've tried to do that with our Arts Engage program. And I'd like to ask all of you to help us as we move forward, to engage our children, those with special needs, those underprivileged and underserved, and all of our children. And I'd ask you to take on the challenge that we've been trying to overcome with respect to leveling the playing field for all of our children. So as you go forward with arts and cultural funds, but also with your own funds and the fundraisers that you do, if you could please think about our young kids and how you can incorporate our children, those underprivileged, those special needs children, and all of the children of Lackawanna County into your programs as you move forward. If it's theater, maybe you can invite to a dress rehearsal one of the local high school drama clubs, or maybe you can invite in a third grade class. And just find ways to engage our children, because they're the future here. And we want them to want to stay here. Every once in a while I'll talk to one of my friends, oh, I was happy to get out of there. Just wanted to leave there. Never wanted to, as soon as I got out, I was happy to be gone. We don't want children to be thinking that growing up. We want them to want to stay here and want to be a part of the solution here moving forward. And the only way we can do that is if we sell them at early ages and throughout their lives as young children and through high school, that they matter, that we care about them, and that we want them here. And I think you probably all want your kids here and your grandkids here. And any ways that you can help make that a reality, we would appreciate it. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. For me, this is the nicest part of the day, and I thank you for being here and making it the nicest part of the day. I haven't gotten around as much as I normally do to visit with everyone, and I apologize for that. But to those of you that I had the opportunity to speak tonight, I want to thank you for all that you offer. And I join with Corey in saluting Maureen. She really is someone that we're ever so proud of. I met her when I was minority commissioner. I said, if I ever get to be in the majority, boy, I'd love to work with her. And we certainly are privileged and honored that she agreed to join us and that and do the fine job that we all knew that she would do. I just want to make a few observations and then get out of the way. When we think of great cities, we really think of the arts, don't we? When someone comes back from Barcelona, they want to talk about Gaudi, and they want to talk about their experience. When someone comes back from Paris, they may want to talk about the Louvre, or they may want to talk about the d'Orsay, but it's something to do with the arts that people want to talk about. When people go to Prague, they say, my goodness, there was music everywhere, and it was so affordable. We couldn't believe all the opportunities for music. I've said, maybe here, but I've said it somewhere, I listened to Gershwin in Prague, and it was in a marvelous space. The venue was really just ever so impressive and ever so memorable. But we're about all that too here in our own community. We want people, when they come here and leave here, to think about the experience that they've had through the arts. Now, it really is appropriate that we're meeting in this building. I mean, we're talking about world class when we talk about this building. The Masonic Temple, Scranton, now known as Scranton Cultural Center, designed by Raymond Hood as a part of a competition, is a building that we can all be very, very proud of. And we can also be very, very proud of what all of you do as arts organizations. And I have this dream. I shared it with Pat Marcinko on one occasion. I have this dream of having music on Courthouse Square, maybe every Friday night. I don't know when this is going to happen during the summer, or maybe every Saturday night. And I imagine music for people my age, well, there aren't that many people around that are as old as I am, but I'm the oldest serving commissioner in history almost. But that's true, folks. It's true. I have the AARP card right here. A lot of people have that, but they don't all have the Medicare card. I have that too. But music for those of us in that frame of mind and frame of time, and also music for young people maybe later in the evening. I imagine using that facility for more and more opportunities to enrich the cultural life of our community. And I joined with Corey and AJ, who's not able to be with us, in thanking you for the contribution that all of you make to the arts, so that when people come and visit us, they'll want to talk about that artistic experience they had, the same way people talk about seeing the architecture of Gaudi in Barcelona, or the same way people talk about seeing Impressionist paintings at the d'Orsay, or the same way that people talk about theater in London or wherever. And because of all of you, we're going to get to make that, and we continue to get to make that impression upon visitors. So thank you for the good work that you all do.
Okay, we're about to, what we like to do is we're actually here to honor the project grant, but we always like to recognize the people that we fund on a yearly basis. So in just a second, I'm going to call all of those recipients up for a picture, so you can come on stage. But there's a couple people we don't do this work alone. We have an advisory council on arts, culture, and education who work very hard throughout the year on various projects. We have a couple of our more than a couple in our audience here tonight from 2009, Bob Savakinis, Nada Gilmartin, and Alicia Gregg are here, who will be continuing on the council. And we have 2 new members with us. Dr. Catherine Richmond-Cullen will be returning in 2010. She was instrumental in setting up a lot of the grant programs we have. And also Marilyn Costa is here, who's also a board member of Mostly Opera. So it's the volunteer work that really makes a lot of our programs work. And also our staff. We have a great staff at the county. Lynn Shedlock's here, our communications director, and Maria Elkins, the chief of staff. I'd like to thank the Cultural Center for always letting us use this beautiful building. Electric City Television is taping this tonight. So just if you don't know, they're now channels 19 and 21. They're not 61 anymore. So this should be airing hopefully next week or so. So I just wanted to mention that. And now, again, we're just going to recognize all the people that we fund, because I think it's really neat to see them all on stage. I actually have one, too. There's somebody in the audience tonight. We also ran a design a bike rack competition, and there's a young artist in the audience, Pat McGowan, who I'm embarrassing, I know, but he was one of our winners. Pat, do you want to stand up? I want to recognize him. Since he's also involved in the Keystone Project, I think he's one of our great emerging artists in our community that we're so lucky to have staying and working in Lackawanna County. So I just wanted, when I saw him back there. All right, so Electric City Television, do you want to come up? And John Darcy is here from there. This is going to go fast and furious. We can just apply. Broadway Theater League, do we have a representative from Broadway Theater League? You guys just want to sort of fill in there. We never choreographed this right because there's so many of you. The Northeastern Philharmonic, I don't know if Nancy was able to make it or if there's someone. Okay, I know there's some people here from United Neighborhood Centers. We fund both their Project Hope program and also their Inner City Music program with Diversified. Lackawanna Historical Society, I know Marianne is here. And these are all people who continuously do great work in our community. Actors Circle, I think JP is here. I'm not sure if anyone here is from Electric Theater Company. They had an event tonight, so I wasn't sure. Okay. Scranton Public Theater, I know Bob is here. Ballet Theater of Scranton, yeah, we have a representative here. Scranton Community Concerts, is Wendy here? And hopefully on our website soon, I'm working on something where you can go to our website and hopefully click on a link to all of these great organizations. Artists for Art Gallery, I think Nikki is here, and Pat are from here. And Boys and Girls Club. I don't see Lisa Souter, but we do fund First Friday, St. Patrick's Day Parade. I don't know if they got there. Doug's, you're here, right? American Federation of Musicians. Oh, there you are. Choral Society. I think John Cardoni, who also helped me set this up tonight, so he wears many hats. City of Carbondale Pioneer Nights Festival. Is Dr. written at Catholic Choral Society? Is anybody? Okay. Lyric Consort. Oh, yeah, that's right. I told you he wears many hats. Robert Dale, I think they said they were not. There is a board member. I apologize. Scranton Jazz Festival is both Lori Ken, but Bob is here too as well. We're also mostly opera. Helene, do you want to come up for you? These are some new. We actually have some newer people in this stream. To get into this stream, you have to fill out an application and kind of prove that you're a solid community organization. So we have a couple new ones. Classical Guitar Society is now in this stream, and I said mostly opera. Clark Summit Festival of Ice, which is coming up soon. I don't know if I see anybody here, but the NEIU Poetry Out Loud folks are here. Catherine is, they receive a yearly allocation from us. And Natalie, I don't know if we do fund the Santa train there on the. Do you want to come? The Lackawanna Heritage Valley. We always make sure that we have. That's a very popular event, so they're definitely. And also our three what we call anchor organizations. We have tonight. Mary Garm is here from the Lackawanna Library. Do you want to come? And is Kara Sutherland here from the Everhart? I don't know if she was able. And Matt Flynn, he's got to be here, right? Is he floating around? Or maybe he's not in the room. But of course, we fund the Cultural Center. So. This is one of the reasons I do this every year, even though it's awkward and taking the photo is difficult. I think it's really powerful to see all of the groups that we fund. So can we get a, oh, Lynn, do you want to take Alice for? All right.
If you guys want to come down here and make sort of, the 3 rows on the steps here. Everyone wants to. Can we fill in over here? And if we can have some people down on this step, move over a little so we don't get the podium in the way. Okay. Move over. There you go. Move over. Okay. If you guys want to come down here, fill in, fill in. Yep.
Okay. Thank you so much. And now, finally, the last part of the evening is to announce our 2010 project grant winners. Oh, I'm sorry. Are we getting like feedback? Yeah, I know. I was like, it's not my forte. This is your 5th hat now. And before we do that, I would like to thank Chris Calvi. Is he in Chris, can you stand up? He has been a wonderful support to the in addition to having our volunteers, we do have some Chris works part-time for us, and he's an Arts Engaged coordinator, but he does so much more. The other person who's here tonight is Jim Cullen, who also helps us organize all of our county concerts. Where's Jim? Okay. These two people, not only are they great people, but they're also very important to making sure our department runs efficiently, and so I just wanted to thank them publicly for the work they do. Okay, and now we are going to announce the winners, and you can come up, and we actually have your checks for you, so the commissioners will be handing your checks to you. That was a little inside joke with, I love the government, but it works slower than a lot of things.
We asked you to wait 30 days before you deposit any of these checks, okay? We don't want to give people, we're recording this, aren't we? We don't want to give people the idea that Lackawanna County has any money.
Right. Yeah, you don't know what I had to go through now, I'm just teasing. Our first recipient is Melody Dance Theater Incorporated. Diana Shaheen is going to be doing performances of traditional Middle Eastern dance at local libraries, I think 3 local libraries. And then afterwards, we'll do a picture, so you don't have, there's a few people who could not make it tonight. Camp Create is also receiving an award for an arts camp for special needs children at the Waverly Community Center, but I don't think Michaela was able to make it. Is there anybody from the Carbondale Historical Society here? Is Dr. Powell here? Oh, good. This is a really interesting project. They're bringing in a Welsh music concert by a actual Welsh choir from Wales, which will be performed at First Presbyterian Church in Carbondale. So I'm very excited about that. Unfortunately, I talked to Rabbi Benipur, could not be here, he's out of town, but the Jewish Discovery Center is getting a grant to do a public concert by professional singer and actor Dudu Fisher at the Mellow Theater, so we're happy to award them. Is anybody here from Covenant Public Concerts? Oh, good. They're a new recipient this year. They're doing 3 public concerts at Covenant Presbyterian Church in Scranton. Congratulations. And First Presbyterian Church is receiving a grant for a children's art show and 2 public concerts at First Presbyterian. One is a handbell choir, right? I remember the panel was very... Yeah, so we're very excited about that. I do have to say that all of these, it's not me sitting in the audience reviewing these. We keep the panels generally confidential, but they work very hard. We have between 5 and 6 people review these. It's in some of an onerous. They get something that looks like a gigantic telephone book, and they have to review that for a month, and then we meet, and we have a lot of good debates. They're all experts in the field. So, the panel, I just want to publicly thank them. They do a lot of hard volunteer work to decide these, and they're all scored, and we try to make it as objective as possible. So. Our next recipient is Kenneth Gordon. Was he able to make it this evening? He is doing a theater production at the Old Brick of original plays based on local people receiving hospice care. So I believe that's in June. So Ken Marquis is here. I did see Kenneth Marquis. Is he? He has a wonderful art exhibit he's working on using recycled hubcaps, but it's artists from all over the world. So his project is the exhibit and also the creation of an educator guide to accompany the traveling exhibit. So that's pretty. It's landfill art is the name of that. So Lexington Entertainment, Doug Smith, for a series of 5 concerts of Schoolhouse Rock and Dixieland All Stars at various schools, libraries, and parks. So. I'm not sure if Sally Wiener Grotto was able to make it, but she is receiving a grant for more lectures of her Pennsylvania hands, a traveling exhibit of portraits of regional artisans. The Century Club is here, right? They are doing a children's theater production of Grease, and it's actually children in the production, so I think that's pretty exciting. The Red Shoes Dance Company was unable to make it, but they are doing a traditional Eastern European dance performance at the Electric Theater Company. Scranton Civic Ballet is here, correct, Kathy? This is for their production of their spring ballet, which they actually use live music for the dances, and they're also bringing in the Cornfield Dance Company of New York. So. Catherine Shefsky of the Music Studio in Clark Summit. Oh, okay. I had met Catherine. You're that. So they will be putting on 4 salon-style musical performances at the Music Studio in Clark Summit. So she's a new recipient. Unfortunately, Tara Steele could not make it tonight, but she's an individual artist who will be doing a 4-month open studio project, creating a series of works based on the landscape of Lackawanna County, but inviting people in and also having a public blog. So that's very interesting. And then finally, Pat Marcinko is here, and he and his Upper Valley Winds Ensemble are receiving an award for an original musical creation and performance depicting the life of an anthracite coal miner. He's very passionate about telling that story. So we want to congratulate all of our grant recipients. And if you know of other people who would like to apply next year, the deadline's always in October. I'm happy to sit with people and talk to them about this process. So Again, thank you all for being here and continue to do the good work you do. And have a good night. Thank you.
Please have everybody over here for a picture, the same lineup that we have.
Yeah.
give you the checks.
Oh, they weren't here.
And the 3 steps. Come on, don't be shy. Go down.